Hello and welcome to another Scardcast Battle Report. Today I'm playing Pete down in Stratford, Ontario, Canada, and we are testing armies for Astronomicon Toronto. 1,500 points of Imperial Fist Space Marines versus 1,500 points of Dark Eldar. So in the comp, there's special comp rules, that's why the armies are very varied and very nice looking. There's a lot of different stuff. And we're playing Static Guard, which is one of the specific missions for Astronomicon. So make sure you stay tuned. So, deployments. It's actually like not exactly a table quarter, 24 by 24 area. There's 6 objectives. There's one by the Predator. By the way, it's big guns never tire, so heavy support is scoring, or heavy metal, whatever they call it. Space Marine turn 1. The drop pod with Lysander and 10 Space Marines drop down. In the middle, combat squadded. Some moving around. It is Night Fight turn 1. Shooting saw 1 warrior from the 20-man warrior squad go down to heavy bolter fire, and 3 chimeras and a beastmaster go down to thunderfires, and some bolter shooting and the predator shooting through the door in that building. They passed their morale, and now we're moving on to Dark Eldar turn 1. Dark Eldar turn 1 moved up. 1 Venom with the Archon fired into the Thunderfire cannon, neutralizing that threat. The Night Spinner, who's back here, the first time I was testing him out, shot over the ruin, knocked out the heavy bolter in that combat squad, killing another model. They were pinned, but they also failed their morale test, so they ran back. The Witches boosted over behind that building, as you can see their raider there. And the remnants of the Beast Pack kind of moved behind cover, while the Rack Venom had moved up to take another shot at the Thunderfire if needed, and then boosted back in order to provide its Grizzly trophy to surrounding units. The Farseer guided and fortuned the Ravager in order for it to potentially survive next turn, as its Lancers failed to do any damage to the Contemptor Dreadnought. And we'll be back after Space Marine turn 2. Pete now is going to roll for his little Storm Talon. Will the Storm Talon show up? And it does. We'll be back after this. Space Marine turn 2. Could have gone worse for the Dark Eldar. The Space Marines have advanced, shuffled. The Contemplar Dreadnought moved up, shot into the Raider, and put 2 glancing hull points on it, with 1 hull point remaining. The Witches are alright. The Hell Turkey came in, and by Hell Turkey I mean Storm Talon, and shot at the Archon's Raider, and put 1 penetrating hit on, but was saved by flick fields. Meanwhile, Lysander and his bolter-armed combat squad bolter drilled into the remainders of the Beast Pack, and the 2 Razor Wings held with a reroll from the Grizzly trophies and insane courage. And meanwhile, we're moving on to Dark Eldar turn 2. Will the Reaver jet bikes show up? They will not. Will the Eldar jet bikes show up? They will not. They'll be coming on later in the game. We'll be back after this. Turn 2, Dark Eldar. Very good turn for the Dark Eldar. The Farseer once again guided and fortuned the Ravager, who took down the Storm Talon. Then a combination of shooting from the Night Spinner and this Venom with Rax took down 2 from Lysander's squad, 3 from Lysander's squad in total, and they fell back. And the Witches charged into Contemplar and wrecked it with haywire grenades, while the Homunculus is back there with a Raider, in the Raider that has 1 hull point left. And the Archon with his Venom boosted up behind that building over there. And we're moving on to Space Marines turn 3. Turn 3, Space Marines. The Master Snipers, with their stratagem, fired into the Witches and pinned them and killed a couple of their number. The Predator blew up the Raider with the Homunculus. The Homunculus is now fine. And in other shooting, Lysander rallied and moved up, blasted into the Warriors, as well as the Heavy Bolter Land Speeder that focused fire into a bunch of Warriors that were in the open, killing 4 of their number, and they held. And now we're moving on to Dark Eldar turn 3. Are the Reaver jetbikes showing up? They are not. And are the Eldar jetbikes showing up? They are. We'll be back right after this. Dark Eldar turn 3. The Dark Eldar Ravager guided, stunned, and put a hull point on the Predator. The Night Spinner fired into that 3-man squad, hit bang on target, but failed to wound. Pete made all his saves. The Splinter Cannon Warriors fired, killed the 2 remaining Marines that they could see through the building. Lysander is still fine. He is actually a scoring unit. The 2 Razor Wings that were surviving ran in, charged the Heavy Bolter Land Speeder, and got 1 rending that exploded it. And then the Eldar jet bikes moved on and are now boosting around. They actually shot at the speeder. there we have the racks that have boosted over there, and the Archon has actually boosted to the bottom of that building to prevent any further shots from it coming in. And now we're moving on to Space Marine turn 4. It's starting to get to the ending of the game. Space Marine turn 4. The Plasma Cannon and Plasma Gun and a Bolter and Storm Bolter from that Rhino and Squadron side took out the last of the Razor Wings. A whole bunch of shooting from the snipers and that squad, and the drop pod killed the sergeant and one more witch, and they are falling back now because they failed their morale test. Lysander is hiding. Snap shooting from the Predator into the Ravager yielded no results, and now we're moving on to Dark Eldar turn 4, and the Reaver jet bikes are coming in hot. Dark Eldar turn 4. The Ravager put another hull point on the Predator and immobilized it, and then the Night Spinner, way in the back, finished it off with taking the last hull point, and also forcing a wound on the Tech Marine.
No wound on the Tech Marine.
Well, he passed it safe.
Yes, he did.
And then the Eldar jetbikes moved up. 2 Blade Storm wounds against Lysander, and he failed one of his invulnerable saves. The Venoms have moved up. I tried to knock out the Rhino full of Marines with the 2 Heat Lancers that missed, and then charged in with the Incubi, and I had put 2 hull points on the Rhino. It's still alive, though, with a full unit inside, and it's fully mobile. Other than that, we're moving on to Space Marine turn 5. Could be the end of the game. Space Marine turn 5, and with a last-ditch effort, the Space Marines capture their hold on objectives. So we have a 3-man squad against that objective over there. The Tech Priest, or Tech Marine over here, that objective, because he's a heavy, he's scoring. This 10-man squad jumped out of their ride, rapid-fired into the Incubi, combined fire with Telion's sniper unit. They pinned the unit and knocked everybody out, all the Incubi down. And the Witches that took some rapid-fire fell back, and so they need Snake Eyes now to rally, because they're from a 9-man unit. And now we're moving on to Dark Eldar and Eldar turn 5. Dark Eldar turn 5. Rax with the liquefier got out, killed 1 model as the liquefier gun was not strong enough. AP. The Reaver jet bikes boosted over there to contest that objective, so nobody has it. The liquefier from the Homunculus did nothing. They passed all their cover saves from the Ravager. The Tech Marine has successfully held that objective, passing every single armor save he had to make from 2 Venoms worth of fire of power. The Eldar jetbikes did not succeed in putting another wound on Lysander, and the Night Spinner missed the big tactical unit in the open. Now, that's the end of the game, and we're figuring out points. Who will win? We'll see after this.
Holy crap, the dice cube.
Okay, so we had... I destroyed the first unit, so like a first blood. We each got 1 point for objectives held, so he held 2 objectives, I held 2 objectives. His warlord was within 3 inches of an objective, my warlord was in 3 inches of an objective. So I literally win by 1 point. Victory to the Dark Eldar and Eldar. Pete, thanks for a great game. And have a good one. Make sure you stay tuned for the Tactical Corner. And welcome to another Tactical Corner. So, starting with my army list, it's a 1500 point list that's very varied thanks to the comp rules. So I had a couple of Eldar units, a Beast Pack, Farsi, a big 20-man unit, only had 4 troops, trying out a Night Spinner. We were testing lists for Astronomicon Toronto, which is known for very, very unique missions. Each table has a different specific mission designed for that table, and really create some interesting matchups, and armies that can deal with a whole variety of situations usually do better than armies that are focused on rock, paper, scissors. Pete had set up the terrain to represent the battle that we were about to play. 6 different objectives. And we went to it. Pete took the initiative first turn, taking up a strong center position. I deployed out of range of his guns. I just didn't want that Thunderfire cannon and the Contemplar to do any damage, but the Beast Pack was more of a something I'd set up as a bit of a bait unit in order for him to focus as much as he could on there. And of course I kept the Grizzly trophies nearby so they wouldn't just run away. It was turn 2, he moved up. Unluckily he wasn't able to destroy the Witch Raider with the Contemplar Dreadnought, which then meant that in my turn 2 I was able to really create a big advantage for myself by knocking out the Storm Talon with the Ravager, even though I needed 6 hit, or all 3 Lancers hit, and just blew it out of the sky. I was able to press the advantage at range and then eventually move up and contest objectives, although the game was a lot closer than it might have seemed during the filming of it. Because Pete played very well, kept his scoring units alive, made some saves in some critical moments, and I was unable to really cause a big shift in the points, meaning that even though I won by 1 point, that was still very, very close of a game, and it was a lot of fun.